Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. And make sure that I get everything kind of situated here real quick. 1 second. And make sure that I'm able to kind of see everything without Windows kind of screwing up my... okay. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Transfer Jim. And today, as you can see, we're starting off with the Pega environment studying as I continue on my journey to get the system architect certification. That'll be it, for the next hour or so. We have the Unreal engine studying and the hour after that. We got some videos to upload and make public the hour after that. And then, of course, we got Warframe at the end of the stream. And who knows how long that's going to take. Who knows how long we're going to be playing that. Been really pushing my gameplay out quite a bit lately. So for those of you that are like, going, what happened to the 4 hours? Apologies on that, but yeah. Hey, when you're having fun, you're having fun. So, okay, so what is, well, who am I? What are these videos? Why am I doing it? So on and so forth. So, who am I? I am currently an unemployed software developer, currently trying to, well, find a job. But my last job was concerning the Pega environment, and maybe if I can get my certification, then I can start applying for jobs again with the Pega environment in mind. But more often than not, most of the companies are going to be looking for certifications before hire. It's very rare to see a company that is willing to hire you and then train you. So you're going to need to work on that, work on your skills prior to being hired. That's pretty much how the world is nowadays, it seems. Forget about on the job training. That's pretty much gone. They need you to know everything that there is to know about everything before they hire you. So good luck with that. So, so that's me right at this moment in time. These videos are my attempt to continue pushing forward, getting the certification for the system architect that I'm aiming for. And I'm going to have the occasional questions along the way, and I hope that, my hope is that, someone from like Pega Academy, a veteran of Pega, or, lead, a manager, whatever, they'll see these videos and go, okay, Jim, this is how you need to understand and interpret what you're reading here to something that you might be able to understand. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. Okay. Along the way, if I can help out someone to get their certification as well, then that's also an added plus. Okay. So if you're getting some help from these videos, maybe you're kind of trying to push for that certification yourself. If I'm helping you out, then um, I hope you get that certification. Leave me a like and a comment if these are indeed helping you out, because that tells me that you know I'm doing something good. So I appreciate your continued support along those lines. So now, just to know, I'm not an authorized training partner, and this is not meant to be an instructor-led training. Okay, I'm not an expert in Pega. Both of these two should be experts in Pega and should be able to train you properly. I had an authorized training partner, but he did not train properly. Matter of fact, we asked to be put back into another training process to get trained properly in Pega, but it is what it is. So, hey there, Emlyn. Welcome back. How's your day? How's work yesterday? Um, so just to give you a heads up, you know, I don't have, I can't help you out when it comes to that. Okay, I'm studying it much along the lines of anybody else that's trying to study for their certification. So if you want to take the instructor-led training, then go ahead and do so. It is sponsored by Pega Academy, which I am not, by the way. Just putting that out there. No sponsorships here, so I'm just kind of doing this on my own volition. Um, but bearing in mind that training is like maybe 2 weeks old, or no, not 2 weeks old, about 2 weeks in duration, and it costs about $5,000. So it's not exactly cheap, okay? And they're going to be putting all the certification knowledge into that training. So that is a lot of information jam-packed in there. So make sure that you take a lot of notes, take, video recordings, and ask a lot of questions there, folks. Okay. We were asking our authorized training partner questions, which he was not answering. Um, but you need to be prepared for the certification when you take it. So ask those questions. Make sure that you are very much aware of, you know, what the Pega environment is all about, and so that you can, get into that certification proxy test and pass it with flying colors. Okay, don't don't aim for that. Maybe I'll get the that one question. I just need one more question over the minimum. No, no, no. Try to go for that 100% if you can. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but also ask questions about previous Pegas. Okay, because I took the Pega 8.6 exam and I was getting hit with Pega 7 questions on that certification exam. So, uh, ask about previous Pegas. Okay, ask about previous keywords, so on and so forth. Plus, it helps you out on the job as well because you're going to be talking with senior managers, leads that might have actually been back in Pega 7, 6, 5. Who knows? So um, you're going to need to be able to communicate with them. So you're going to need to know their keywords as well. So just give yourself a heads, just give yourself heads up on that. So, Tarot, as always, believe me, I hear you on that one. I was watching your Unreal video engine video, and then I saw your live stream. Nice, nice. Well, welcome. Okay, so um, let's go into the dashboard here, and I'll explain a little bit more. So we're still going to be working on the system architect mission here. So feel free to continue. We're going to be continuing on with this. If you're interested in the business architect certification, though, okay, seeing that there is one, you'll have to go back through my playlist. I'm already done with the 2 missions and the two modules here. So if you're aiming for the business architect certification, check out the playlist, go through the videos. However, these last 2 modules here, I would recommend that you go through the Pega Express delivery because these 2 modules are very minimal information about the entire Pega Express delivery. So, seeing that this is 12% of the certification test, I would recommend that you go through this mission and, study a little bit more about, what it's all about and all the details contained within. So be prepared on that. So, we got hit with a huge topic the past 2 days. So that was a bit of a My mind was quite trashed after the data pages topic. They put a lot of information in that page, in that topic. I feel like it could probably be its own module, to be honest, um, with how much information that they put in this one particular topic. Here, I mean, I'll show you that it's jam-packed full of information. I mean, just look at everything here, and we're not talking about like um, you know, oh, there's like maybe one little detail here and there. No, there's like multiple topics, you know, that they have here, and there's a lot of information contained in each one of those topics. So it is not an easy topic to really consume. So take your time when you go through those last two videos because they're they're a mouthful. You're gonna be chewing on that for a while. So, um, okay, so we're gonna be moving on to the next topic on this one. Thankfully, it's a little bit less than the previous one, even though they still say that it's 10 minutes long. But um, so refresh strategies for data pages. So we have stale data and data refresh. So we have out-of-date data, also referred to as stale data, can lead to bad decisions, costly errors, and inefficient processes. Keeping the contents of a data page current is critical for ensuring accurate, desirable case outcomes. First-time users access a data page. Pega platform populates the page with up-to-date information. Subsequent users access the same cached data even if the source data changes. To keep data pages current with changes in source data, configure a refresh strategy to identify and limit stale data. Um, think of it this way. Say you need information like every second. Okay, like maybe you're designing the website that is tracking the GPS of one of your workers as they are traveling out to a job site. Okay, so you need that information updated on a regular basis. Okay, maybe your client is kind of tracking them. Like here in the States, we have a couple sites for delivering food, DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever, what have you, right? So on the website, you can actually see you know relatively live data, based off of their GPS information of where the driver is located at, and how long it's going to take for them to get to your location, right? Um, if that GPS information doesn't update at all, then that's what you would pretty much consider stale data, right? You know, if they're, you know, if the website is still displaying them at the store on which they're picking up the food or whatnot, okay, but you just heard the doorbell at your front door, saying, "Hey, I'm here with your food." That's the stale data. You get what I'm saying? So, um, you might need to update, on a regular, and, depending on the critical information. Stock markets, those require very up to date information. Okay, you need to know, that information super quick. Okay, so you're going to be needing to get that information every like microsecond. Otherwise you're going to be losing out on, potentially millions if you're like a stockbroker or whatnot, right? So, that's why, um, you're going to need to refresh on a regular basis. And I'm talking, like at the very top of your browser, you have the reload the page, right? Same kind of thing. Maybe you want to, get new information right then and there. Okay, so you might need to reload. Same kind of idea behind it. Okay, so hopefully that kind of helps you out and understand what this is all about. So, so refresh strategies. The refresh strategy for a data page defines one or more conditions for testing whether the contents of a data page are considered stale and need to be reloaded. When a user accesses a data page, Pega platform checks the refresh conditions configured for the data page. If a page meets at least one of these conditions, Pega platform reloads the page contents from the specified data source. So, obviously they're talking about um, the user kind of controlling the conditions of it, right? Maybe they are the ones that actually clicked the reload, okay? And then, Pega platform checks to see has any of the information changed or does it need to change, okay? So therefore, or the the programmer will set in conditions, saying like, hey, has 5 seconds passed since the last refresh? And if that's the case, then Pega platform will, initiate a refresh, um, to gather the data again. Okay, so, but maybe the time is like instead of 5 seconds, maybe it's 5 minutes. Okay, you don't necessarily need the information like right away or something like that. Um, maybe you're just kind of tracking um, the the package being delivered to you via like UPS or something like that, right? Just as an example. Well, you're not going to care about whether or not the plane, where the plane is in the sky, right? You're not necessarily going to be really caring about that. You're not going to be like looking at the monitor going, "Oh my gosh, it's traveled 1 mile," for an airplane, right? That doesn't necessarily make any sense. You get what I'm saying? Um, so maybe the conditions for refreshing at that particular moment in time doesn't necessarily match. Okay, your conditions for is it in the air? Who cares? It's still in the air. And, doesn't matter if it's on the plane if it's still on the plane. It's still up there. What you would care about is when the plane left and when it arrived. That's it. That's all you would really need for the conditions, right? Concerning that plane flight. So that's what it's kind of talking about in this particular sense. So designing a data page refresh strategy requires balancing processing effort against the chance that a data page contains stale data, especially for a page with the scope set to thread. Always consult with project stakeholders to determine acceptable limits on performance impacts and stale data before configuring a refresh strategy. So yeah, you're going to be talking with the project stakeholders in this case to know how often do you need it to refresh. Okay, if you don't really care about how often it refreshes, then you won't necessarily need to worry about, you know, the conditions as much. Okay, you don't need to worry too much about, having a very stringent refresh strategy on it. Okay, then again, if you're working on the, like say the stock market that needs to be refreshed almost constantly, then you're going to need to figure out, the acceptable limits because there will be performance impacts on trying to refresh that information almost constantly. Okay, you're going to need to have that connection to the internet, or maybe straight from uh, the stock market, like right then and there, in some way, right? You're going to need that information right then. So it all depends on the what the job needs. Okay, so that's why we want to talk with the project stakeholders and make sure that you know what you need to do, or what they're going to be looking for on that before you make this refresh strategy. Because if you make a refresh strategy that says, I don't care, we don't need to refresh, and you're working on the stock market, well, guess what? Your company's losing millions, and who are they going to be blaming? You. So be careful with that. In the data page record, the load management tab provides developers with 3 options for configuring a refresh strategy for a read-only data page. So, okay, so they're going to be kind of talking about the 3 options here. So, under the load management tab. So, bear this in mind on the certification. Okay, they may throw these questions at you. Okay, so reload once per interaction. The reload once per interaction option updates the contents of the data page each time a user accesses the page in memory. This option is available only for pages with the scope thread set to thread or requester and cannot be combined with any other refresh options. For example, travel reservation populates a data page with seating information for the flight selected by a customer. Select Reload once per interaction to update the data page every time the customer accesses the page to ensure that the seating information is as current as possible. Now, obviously, this could be a little dangerous, for the information that they're getting, because what happens if the customer keeps on reloading, and then you have like 20 of the monitors at the same time trying to get that information all at the same time. Okay, that's going to be a huge drain on your system if that's the case, right? So, just bear that in mind. Is that something that you're willing to accept? Okay, because that's going to be a, if someone, um, if you have a website that handles this, for example, right? And someone malicious comes along and says, hey, I want to bog up their system. I want to cause a huge problem with their airline service. I'm going to, have all these computers just bomb this website and do a reload. You know, um, what they call basically like a DDoS attack, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember the correct term of it. But it basically lags the system out, and now you might not be getting that information accurately right away anymore, because now you have someone from the outside causing problems, causing hardships. If that's something that you're willing to put up with, then this is probably the way to go. But just bear that in mind. You might have some difficulties with that. So no. Um, Now, obviously, if it's something like internal, like an internal company working on, you're working on an application for an internal company, and, then you might not need to worry about the reload once per interaction, because your employees shouldn't be doing a reload, every second or whatnot to cause problems for your company, right? Hard to say. But, um, you know, one would hope that you wouldn't have any sabotage within the company, for an internal application, right? So, um, So the reload once per interaction shouldn't be that big of a deal for like an internal application. But just be careful of an application that it allows for outside uh, requests. So, okay. Next one here. Do not reload when option uses a win condition to test whether the data page is considered stale. If the condition returns a result of true, the contents of the data page are considered current, and Pega platform does not attempt to update the data page. So, um, wait, what? Hold on. Let me reread this statement here. The do not reload when option uses a when condition to test whether the data page is considered stale. Okay. If the condition results are returns a result of true, meaning that the data page is stale, the contents of the data page are considered current, and Pega platform does not attempt to update the data page. Or maybe it's testing to see whether or not the data page is current, so that's why it returns to true. I don't know. I could see this kind of going both ways. Like, hey, are you considering the conditions to be stale? If it's true, then you probably want to consider refreshing. You know, if the results are true is asking whether or not the contents are still considered current, then I guess you don't really need to worry about it. But I don't know. This statement's a little off there, but we'll move on. For example, data page containing pricing and volume information for specified security. After the trading day ends, the price and volume remains constant until trading resumes on the next business day. To prevent unneeded refreshing of the data page, configure a condition to prevent Pega platform from reloading the page after the trading day ends and before the next trading day begins. So you don't want to do the, you want to make sure that the do not reload happens, you know, uh, after, the trading day and before the trading day kind of thing. So like if the trading day stops at 5 and doesn't start back up until 8, for example, then, 5 p.m. till 8 a.m., you don't need to reload because it stays the same information. There's no information to be refreshed. Okay, it doesn't change. So there's no need to reload. So um, the reload if older than option uses a fixed interval time to determine whether the data page is stale. After the interval ends, the data page contents are considered stale, and next attempt to access the data page causes Pega platform to update the data page. So if a data page with a reload if older than interval of 10 minutes is first accessed at 12 p.m., the page is considered stale at 12:10 p.m. Pega platform then updates the contents of the page when a user accesses the stale page, which may not occur until 1 p.m. So it doesn't automatically reload the information right away. Bear in mind for the reload if older than. It just means when the user accesses. So, like their example here, 10 minutes pass, right? So the user, accesses the page, at 12 o'clock, right? So, they get the updated information. Now, waits a little while, 10 minutes pass, 12:10 hits. So it basically says, hey, you can reload, or you can refresh the data if the user accesses this page again, right? But 1 o'clock rolls around, or 12:20, 12:30, 12:40, 12:50, nothing happens. 1 o'clock comes along, the user wants to see the information or the new information. They click on the page, and there it goes. Oh, okay, you're trying to get the information. It needed to be reloaded anyway, so let's go ahead and refresh the page. That's kind of what's going on there. So, for example, an employee onboarding case allows a manager to assign a seating location to a new employee. An inventory of seating locations with the status of each location is stored in a database table and filtered to populate a data page with available seating locations at the branch office specified in the onboarding case. The data page is um, parameterized to maintain an instance for each branch office. Stakeholders are confident that refreshing the page every minute is enough to avoid duplicate selections by managers. Well, I mean, if you're assigning a seating location, you don't necessarily, you might not even need to worry about every minute, you know? I mean, how many new employees are you getting, you know, are you getting employees every minute? That's an interesting business if you're getting an employee every minute. And, for that particular office, let's face it, it's like you're getting 60 employees a day at that office, or not even a day. It's like you know 60 times 8, so you're looking at 480 new employees every single day at your office, and you're trying to manage the seating location on that. Oh my God, why? you know it's like um you know that seems quite ridiculous, to kind of worry about it every minute, right? um that seems like a really bad, um you know this seems really bad for an example right at this moment in time. But who knows, man? Maybe they just got a brand new office and they need to fill in every single seat. Maybe then I can understand like the minute or so time. But if you have like an already established office or something like that, and you're only needing to like hire maybe one or two employees, maybe for even for the month, right? Then you might not need to worry about that every minute clause in there. You get what I'm saying? So consider the frequency of data changes to design a refresh strategy that minimizes the processing burden due to reloading data pages. Yeah, this right here, burden due to reloading data pages. That's going to be a lot. So a data page containing pricing data, such as e-commerce online shopping company, must be refreshed every second of the day to reflect a change in price. Does it though? You might not need to have it, you know, refreshing every single second. Now, if it was me, I'd be um I'd be looking for, you know, um I would be kind of checking um whether or not there's a, you know, well, I'd be kind of querying you know, um, the company itself to see whether or not they have invoked. a change. Or maybe wait for the company to say, hey, we've, you know, um, like, wait for the company to send in a notification that, a change in price has been done and then do a refresh. So you don't necessarily need to be refreshing every second. Okay. You wait for the company to basically initialize that refresh. So, but then that would require the company itself to kind of be able to kind of contact your company, which, let's face it, that might not necessarily work for like all the e-commerce shopping company sites, right? Um, so I don't, there should be ways for you to work on not having to worry about, refreshing every second. Okay, there are ways to kind of think about other solutions to the problem. Okay, if you're trying to refresh every second, of the day to check the change in price, then you're doing a lot of reloading of the data pages over and over and over again. That's a lot for your system to try to handle. So, um, a data page listing automobile makes and models may only need to be refreshed every 30 to 60 days because, let's face it, you're not going to be needing to, a car company isn't necessarily going to be, coming out with a make and model every second. You, so that right there makes sense, right? So, um, but obviously, figure out what you kind of need to do depending on the workload. So Pega platform never refreshes the data page more than one time per interaction, regardless of how the data page refreshes options are configured. So check your knowledge with the following interaction. A data page configured with a reload if older than interval refreshes automatically once the interval ends. No, incorrect. It only refreshes when the user initializes the or interacts with the data page. That's when it reloads. So it doesn't reload, it doesn't reload automatically. So okay, so this topic is done. Let's see, how does this page look? There's quite a bit of, and there's a little bit of information here. Can I do it in 15 minutes? Probably not. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that there. Then I will leave this for tomorrow's um, Pega portion for today. It's quite hilarious. You see, the refresh strategies for data pages. They say it's 10 minutes there, and it's like, hey, this is okay. We got through. I did a lot of additional discussions and stuff like that, but I could see someone probably getting through this maybe within 10 minutes if they read fast enough. Um, but this one being 10 minutes, no way. There's no way in hell that someone's going to be able to get through all of this in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. You'd have to be a speed reader and try to try to memorize everything that is in there in 10 minutes. I'm sorry, not possible. I'd like to see someone be able to do, without, photograph of memory, by the way, try to read through all this and give me like, and I'll give them a test, on this page, and see how much they retained, right? So, yeah. Okay, but that's going to be it for today. Concerning our journey, as you can see, we've covered quite a bit of the system architect missions so far. So, which of course you can always go back through my playlist and check through, all the modules that I've covered, all the challenges that I've done. So, feel free to go through those and, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them because, I will try to be there to answer your questions if I can. If I can't, then I will, refer to, um, people that I've met in my last job. Hopefully they can help me with answering your question. Um, so, take your time. You know, um, the main goal. You know, while sure, passing the system mission exercise and mission test is a good goal to do. The main goal is to get that certification. Okay. You're trying to aim for, business architect certification. Maybe you're looking for a system architect certification, you know, and you know, these might lead to a lucrative job for you, if you want to do it. But, you know, um, but I mean, if you're watching this video on YouTube, then obviously you um, already know all that. If you're catching this video for the very first time on YouTube, then, well, you know, if you want to go for a business architect, then, I've already covered I've covered the mission for it already. So go back through the playlist and go through all the topics and challenges. You know, if you're brand new to system architect, there's a lot of information for you to catch up on, but it's there. I haven't taken it away. So now, granted, it's for the 8.7 mission. So if you want to try to go for the up to date, 8.8 or the new 23, then I can't guarantee it's going to be a complete match because obviously they'll be updating and changing. I've suggested modifications to some of their topics and challenges and the like, over these discussions that I've had. So those updates might already be in there. So there's going to be some changes along the way. So especially if you go for like the 8.8 and beyond. So um, we're not going to be doing senior or lead system because I'm not there yet. um, but I mean, taking these, doing these missions might actually be a really good help for you, though. Okay, because they're going to be teaching you more in depth about the Pega environment, so you would know more. Okay, I'm not saying that it's a necessity. Like, you don't necessarily, it shouldn't be a necessity for you to take the senior system architect in order to pass just a system architect. It shouldn't be a necessity, but it might help. Just saying. It might be more information. It might provide you with a more solid foundation for you to really understand the environment more. They're going to be kind of going a little bit more in depth for you to kind of understand what they're trying to go for on it. So, like I said, it shouldn't be necessary, but it may still help. So, bear that in mind. Um, Obviously, there's other certifications out there that are, slightly different, like the robotic system architect here and the data scientist certification, decisioning consultant. So we're not going to be covering those, just to give you a heads up on that. You're welcome to take the you know, the missions for them, but I'm not going to be covering them myself. Okay, I don't really have any um, desire to work on those at this time. My main focus is getting that system architect certification first. After that, we'll see where we go. Okay, but for right now, yeah, that's it. We're going to be going on to the Unreal Engine here fairly soon. But that's going to be it for this recording. So I'm going to go ahead and close on down for this recording. So thank you all for joining me on this. Hopefully you got some good information out of this. Hopefully you'll continue working towards that certification yourself. And like I said, don't forget to you know um, ask ask questions if you need to on in the comments or in the chat right now. You're welcome to. I don't mind answering questions like right now live, if that's the case. Um, but obviously the videos, on YouTube, if you're just starting out with Pega and the Pega environment, you'll want to kind of start at the very beginning and kind of work your way through that. So, but that's it. That's where we're going to go ahead and close on down um, with this video. So, I learned a little bit about the stale data and refresh and managing it while reading those paragraphs. Kind of hard for me. Yeah, yeah. I can imagine. But that's the reason why you kind of want to try to figure the information and try to you know put it into like a real life situation sometimes. So, and that's what I want to try to do. If they don't have like a good example, I want to try to provide one as well. So, but all right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the recording. So, for those of you watching this on YouTube, help me out with the algorithm with a like and subscribe. And check out the description for more links such as Discord, Patreon, Throne, and the stream team that I have, Team Robot. Check out the application page there. But that's it. So stop and recording now.